すでに始末してやった損でいるな。はあ、どうでもいいがな。首の傷が馴染んでくるにつれ、2秒、3秒と長く止められるようになった。今では5秒は止めていられる。時が止まっているのに5秒と考えるのはおかしいが、とにかく5秒ほどだ。というのに、試験終了チャイム直前まで問題を解いている受験生のような。
What the heck is that?
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
I don't know, but that dude looks pretty evil.
I got this.
Could Mordecai and Rigby beat Dio? Twitter got me interested in the topic, and I love entertaining things like this. Now, Dio, when lowballed, is building plus in terms of strength and durability. His speed still remains massively faster than light, and on the higher end, we have him at city block level plus. At least that's the last time that I checked. You can also stop time. The goal is to see what Mordo and Riggs can do to him. Now, regular show is chaotic as it's a stoner type comedy, so their feats will be everywhere. For example, Mordecai is strong enough to charge Death Bear and break a wall doing so. This Death Bear is the same Death Bear that can slash off arms with one strike, take an ungodly amount of bear tranquilizers, and is that a roundhouse kick? I gotta be some sort of confused. What the hell am I looking at over here? Mordecai's shoulder bash is also a specialty. He can break into a plain looking shed that's locked using the same move. And on the other hand, we have Rigby. He's strong enough to carry Benson and Mordecai while swinging on trees, which does take a lot of upper body strength, I'd say. But you also have earlier Rigby, who can't take a hit at all. I'm sure we can attribute it to a time thing though, because most characters get better over time. For example, Mordecai gets CJ out of the way from a bazooka blast, and he comes out of it relatively clean. Rigby has gotten slammed through a table and died, but it was by skips, so it's not that bad, right? Mordecai was able to react and act accordingly against the Hammer, who was just jumping towards Skips. That was pretty fast. But you want to also include like the fact that like them versus the Hammer, they were getting just straight destroyed. This is off script. Like I remember this episode pretty well. They got destroyed. Look at this clip.
Oh no, bro.
Muscle Man, that's just funny. That is just funny. That's so damn funny. And over here we have Rigby embracing his inner platformer and jumps over a bunch of logs correctly. In addition to that, Rigby was able to hold on to an agitated Muscle Man even when he's over here throwing himself around and blowing himself up with propane and propane accessories. As for speed and more strength things, we must go into Mordecai and Rigby's various forms and items. As for the regular version of themselves that we got to know through seasons 1 through 6, I'm gonna be honest with you, they'd be victims of the JoJo Donut specialty for the most part. These guys are pretty regular and don't really have much to deal with Dio alone. You know what that means though? That means we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this, you know? I'm talking Death Kwon Do, you know? I'm talking the power. This is the strength that you get when a teacher makes a joke about you to the class when you was just asking a question. It realistically wasn't even that funny. Like, how the hell am I even supposed to say accurate? Fuck, dude. Yeah, Death Kwon Do. Where am I? When Rigby learned the art of Death Kwon Do, he became an extreme threat. He could send Muscle Man and Skips, of all people, flying. When he hit Pops, Pops actually flew. What surprised me more that this was a regular feat in fiction, just launching people, and apparently this is only wall level, which blows my mind, but you know. But now the next following feat makes even more sense for the context of this because Mordecai tanks all of Rigby's hits in his Death Kwon Do form. Mordecai tanks Bazooka Blast regularly on his just nothingness. So I'm pretty sure that in his Death Kwon Do state, just getting hit by Rigby, it's less than nothing, if anything. I also have a calc using this crater that Rigby made and using the whole spherical cap and vaporization formula using some scaling. We ended up making this feat city block level, even though I get that this little thing, it's funny. I could be wrong, so I'm open to the idea of lowballing it, like a hard lowball to large building level, but it's most likely some sort of city block. So with Death Kwon Do, Dio, Mordecai, and Rigby potentially could be at a similar level. That would leave it more so to a battle of skill and just more so an all-around battle of attrition. And I honestly think with Time Stop, Dio most likely has these two beat.
Come on, dude, don't be a jerk.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll stop. JoJo fans, the attempt at bias is over. The boys are in town. God of basketball powered Mordecai and Rigby. The power keyboard episode. Telling Dio to send him to his room. Telling Dio to send him to the moon? Excuse me? Grab the phone, because if Mordecai and Rigby put in that call, guess who's coming through? The baby ducks. Boop, 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 boop. You know who's gonna be smoking on that Dio pack? Hyper Duck Extreme Park variant. You know who's gonna be smoking harder? Hyper Duck Ultimate Fury Giga Wing. What the hell is it? Do you want to see an unreasonable amount of overkill? Hyperduck, King Breaker, White Lightning? That's the longest name in history. This is a damn Gundam. But for the most part, that's just with, it's with additional help. No matter how many ways you break it, that's additional help. The power is not even theirs. It's not. I'd even like to count that when they survived a planet exploding and when they got blasted into one from space, it's like, whoa, that's a planetary feat. This is a genuine concern. That was with the attempt and support of Pops from his awakened state against anti-Pops. So they're getting the support of getting like not hurt, getting the intention of getting hurt, and they came out fine. I can't honestly attribute it to just a specific them thing. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all, considering the feats that I've seen and how regular show works altogether and all the light stuff, and it's pretty normal. When it comes to Mordecai and Rigby alone, they're pretty regular guys for the most part, even though this is in quotes irregular but regular show. But I have to tell you this, being regular, that's not gonna cut it. That's not enough to take out a guy like Dio. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace out and Godspeed.
ほう、向かってくるのか。逃げずに